Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am going to talk about the books that I read in June. I ended June on 51 books, which is actually much less than it's been like the last 3 months. I think it's my second worst month of the year of the 6 months we had so far. But granted, 51 books is still a lot. And most of my month went to reading monthly favorite books because that is a huge vlog I'm doing for that. And I've been debating like how detailed I will go into those books that I read for that vlog, because in that vlog I go into detail for all those books and then it's like very repetitive because it almost feels like the same thing twice, and honestly like don't want to spend that long talking about the same book twice in a way. But obviously like mention them here in this wrap up. I also did of course read some books outside it, but everything I read I try to also vlog because I have become a vlog, I was gonna say a vlog queen, but not really, but I'm trying to do different vlogs for everything I read. So I guess we're gonna just go through it, better favorite books, just kind of very quickly. Because the first book I read was The Glittering Court by Rochelle Mead. And I don't know, do I say thoughts? Do I say star ratings? Is that a spoiler for the vlog? Do we care? How do I do this? Following a girl that doesn't want to get married and goes to another place to get married, and shit happens, and I give it 2 stars. We have Ruined by Amy Tintera, who pretends to be a princess and then gets married to this prince. There's a lot of marriage in these books, honestly. And then she's secretly like one of the people with magic that is being haunted, and then she's there to like take down the royal family. But the prince is kind of hot though, and then that plays out. I actually noticed a bit more, and I think I gave it 3, which is one of the few I gave it 3, so there's that. Considering how many favorite books I read, I still failed into like how many I wanted to read for the month, and like that's why it's only 51 books here, because I was supposed to read like 10 to 20 more, I think. So I was a failure even though I read a lot. But the next thing I read was my Lesbian Experience with Loneliness. This is all of the volumes that are out. The manga is following our main character, which you can even call her that, because she does write about her life and her experiences. And in the first one, she does hire an escort agency to basically be connected and touch someone for the first time. She struggles with eating disorder, she struggles with alcoholism, with the relationship with her family, and just with self-image and like so many other things, and depression and loneliness. So it just brings up a lot of different things of different states of her life, like health states, etc. So we had the first one, My Lesbian Experience with Loneliness, which I reread, and then I have bought the rest to read for Prime Month. My Solo Strange Diary, which is basically her writing herself, 1 and 2, and then we have My Alcoholic Escape from Reality. And then we also have My Wandering Warrior Existence and My Pancreas Broke But Life Got Better, which actually happens twice, which is, I was gonna say very sad, but also like, that's impressive, but in a sad way. And mostly it's like pink and white that is used, but in the 2 orange ones we have orange colors as well. But I guess they kind of hang together, the 2 orange ones, so it kind of makes sense. It annoys me in a way that the spines don't align up perfectly because different colors, but it is a very emotional series that got to a lot of people. I found it very enjoyable, but very sad, but very interesting reflections upon yourself in a way. And then I managed to read the whole thing for the month, and now I am caught up. I was going to say not exactly finished with the series, because obviously there might be coming more, we don't know that. But I read them all. It's kind of nice to just jumble all together. Obviously not right after one another, but like in between the books I read through the month. Then I read Come and Get It by Kylie Reid, which was my audiobook. And here, this is a really weird book where we follow different characters. That one of them is just writing this book. She was going to write this book about weddings and to use these young students to talk about the weddings. But then the way they talked about money fascinates her, so she decides to use what they said about money to write for, was it Teen Vogue or something? Something teen, something site. And then we have other characters who's basically, they have this live-in place, and then she's responsible for the people living there, and then shit goes down there, and then 2 of them start sleeping together, and there's like drama, and different characters have different things they're going through. There's not really a plot. It was really weird and chaotic, but for some reason I really enjoyed it, so there's that. And I actually gave it a 4, even though I saw a lot of people not liking it, but I really enjoyed it because I just liked the drama and the tone of the story. So yeah. Ivory and Bone by Julie Ashbaugh was the next favorite book, and I didn't like this one. It gave me nothing. I think I gave it a 1. Next favorite book was Inherited by Frida Matthews, which was this indie published book, and it's kind of like the judge's crew and they're looking for these heirs. I didn't care about a single thing that happened once again, which is, I mean, sad to say, but such is life. And I gave it like a 1 star, I think, maybe 2. I don't know. Check out my favorite little vlog for where I remember what I said. A Winter's Heart by Robert Jordan, which was the next Wheel of Time I need to read, for Wheel of Time along, obviously, and the live show has already been. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Like, some really fun things happen in here that I thought happened later for some reason. So it was more enjoyable, I think, than I thought, and I think I give it a 3. And I don't bother explaining the plot of Wheel of Time because it's Wheel of Time. Read Vassa in the Night by Sarah Porter, and I didn't really like this one. It had like Neil Gaiman and vibes, which I really enjoy, but then there's some Neil Gaiman I don't like as much, and I was just like, I don't care. So I ended up not enjoying it. I think I gave it a 1 as well. So I realized that I could listen to audiobook for the favorite books as well. So I started on the bottom of the list to go upwards so that we can meet a bit in the middle, even though I won't be able to listen to as many audiobooks as I can read physically anyway. But then I started with What the River Knows by Isabel Ibanez, and I just was so annoyed at this main character. I was so annoyed at this main character. I wanted to enjoy it because I do feel like the atmosphere in a way was interesting, but just the way it was written, and we had to repeat over and over this thing because her parents spent most of her life in Egypt and not in Argentina with her, and she just like repeats like every 4 seconds how she was left alone, and this is what I care about, and I didn't care about me, and it just repeats over and over and over again. And I just like, I know your parents were Chile and I left you, but I just don't care when you keep repeating it every 4 seconds. Like, can we move on? Not like move on from it, but can we talk about something else? And I felt really mean, but such is life. She was just very whiny, very naive, stupid little girl, and I just started liking this dude from the first second she saw him. And I just for some reason thought that the book would be more, considering like I looked at it and like what I heard about it, and I just like was so annoyed for the whole thing. So yeah, and then the ending picked me a bit off, but then no. So yeah, I don't know why I spent so long talking about this, but I think I gave it a 3, but it might should have been probably a 2. We have Metaltown by Kristen Simmons. This has blended in with all together with all the other ones I read, but I just know I didn't like it. We have Nemesis by Anna Banks. I do believe that this one, she's the only one who can make this thing. Oh, is that in Metaltown? Oh my god. It's just blended together. I think Metaltown was maybe like people are being suppressed, etc. And then we are gearing up this revolution. And Nemesis is the one where only one person can make this metal thing. And then she has tried to run away, but then she needs to go back anyway. Didn't enjoy either. No. And then we have Flashfall by Jenny Moyer. I do believe this was some kind of revolution thing as well. I would know it if I just read like the first sentence of the synopsis. They would not be blended together as much. But then we had Facing Against Readathon, so then I got to read something else. Finally, I started a readathon with From Cold Ashes Risen by Robert J. Hayes, the 3rd book in a Werewolf Eternal, which follows a scout who tries to escape from this pit in the 1st book and rebuild the world, etc. And it's just really good. It was really, there was this thing that happened in this one that I'm like, did that actually happen? Because I kind of need to know, and I am upset about it, and I need to go into that more, to look into it more in a way that I need to read the next book. But yeah, I really enjoyed it and gave it 4 stars. Finally. Then I read All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown. This one was a YA dystopia that I actually enjoyed, comparing it to other YA dystopia I read here. And this one, it's been a pandemic and lots of people have died. So there's these 2 teenagers that meet and fall in love. And they are going on to this journey to survive and try to find more safety. You know how it is like in a post-apocalyptic world where basically the strongest survive, which is not always the best people, and it hurts. And they meet dangers out there. But yeah, there's apparently a sequel, and I really want to read that too. So I really enjoyed this one, and I gave it a 4 out of 5. Then I read Heaven's Official Blessing by Tian Guan Sifu, which is volume 2, and I'm like not loving these as I thought I would, and I'm so sad about it. But it basically feels like a K-drama, so I feel like maybe it's something with the way it's narrated, this way we're like showing, not telling, but it's like about this reborn prince that's maybe being born over and over, and he always messes up, and then gods I kind of hate him. And then he meets this dude, and they're supposed to have a thing, and I wish I loved it, but I'm not. I'm giving it like a 3. I just cannot, for the life of me, like fall properly into the story, and it's very annoying. Then I finished First Become Ashes by K.M. Sparsa, which was the Buddy Reed pick for our Patreon Discord, and none of us enjoyed it really. It follows these characters that have now been broken out of this park they lived in, where there was basically this cult where it was very abusive, and now one of them has run away to go out on this magical quest. And we like question the whole time if magic is real or not, or if they're just brainwashed because they were part of this cult. I mean, you get a lot of flashback to their abuse, which is basically that magic that I had needed to be fueled by pain. So like they needed to like whip themselves in like this weird kinky BDMS situation, which is like nothing weird about doing BDMS. If that's what you enjoy, that's not what I meant. But like obviously, since they are being told that they have to do this because to really fuel the magic, and then there's like a lot of like different sexual assault and rape scenes, which is like it's a lot of them, and there's a lot of like sex scenes just in general. Mostly, if only people with penises that are in there, and like all of them have like chastity cages on their parts. So like there's a lot of like denying of pleasure, etc., but it's done into this cult thing instead of like what is actually being used for. And granted, parts of it was fascinating, and like the writing is fine and the characters were kind of interesting, but just the way that some characters enabled others that like had nothing to do with this place, and I was just very shocked about that. And just the way it had so much like sexual stuff, and like I'm the one saying this, so that's just say I love that I just didn't see the purpose of, in a way that like why are we having all these sexual scenes all the time. I don't know. And then there's just a conclusion, and just like the character development didn't feel realistic to me. So I didn't end up really liking it that much, I am sad to say, and I gave it 2 out of 5. Then I read Gwen Art Are Not in Love by Lex Croucher, which is not really an Art and Gwen retelling, even though we have their names. They live in a Camelot that is long past since Arthur's time. They're kind of his descendants. And then we have this engagement between 2 main characters, Gwen and Art, but both of them are gay, so they don't want to be together. But they kind of go into this alliance where they can be with the people they actually want to be while pretending they want to be together. And it's kind of really fun, the setting, like the known stuff from the Arthurian legends, and just our characters are very like humoristic and sweet. I really liked like the beginning of the book a lot, like it was really, really strong for me. But then we tried to be plotty and I was like, why do we have a plot? Can't we just be cute? And we tried to have a plot and a battle, and they're like, that'll make me lose the interest a bit. I do believe I gave it a 3 or 4, I don't remember. Maybe I think it should have been 3.5, because like I enjoyed parts of it a lot, but then it lost me a bit because we needed to have plot, and I don't think it needed a plot, honestly. Then I read Evocation by S.D. Gibson, which is the first one in the series, which basically follows, in this first one, is a David that has been cursed, and then he needs help from his ex Riz and his wife Moira, and they all just fall in love basically. But David and Riz has a long past, a toxic past basically, or like not a toxic past in a way that like they are terrible to each other, I mean a bit, but like they broke up on bad terms is what I'm trying to say. They didn't have the best relationship, and now they're grown as people. Maybe they can be better. And we have like incantations and spells and magic and secret society, and this great relationship between these characters. It's not plot heavy, but the characters are so great that I honestly didn't mind, says the person who prefers a plot always. And I just love the characters. I love the way it was written. I love like the atmosphere, and my main complaint is basically like I didn't like their names, and I wish that we saw more sides of them than like only the scenes they were together, because there was a lot of places where it was like we jumped a bit in time, and then I missed that we didn't get to spend that time with them, even though I do get we can't go into every single detail. But I really, really loved it for what it was, and I rounded it up to 5. It basically just is a 5, we can say, and it's just about family and finding love and deserving love, and I loved it so much. So yeah, it was really great. And also the dirty talk in this one is the most superior dirty talk I ever read, and I was like, excuse me. Whew, liked it a lot. Loved it a lot is what I was trying to say. Then back in business again, I read Empress of the Thousand Skies by Rhoda Belleza, which I owned on my TBR for years and years and years. We have this lost survivor of like this empire. She's a crown princess, and then she is going to reclaim a kingdom. Stuff happens instead, and I didn't hate it, but I didn't really care, so I gave it a 2. Then I read Give It to the Sea by Mindy McGinnis. this book, we have this girl that's chosen out to be the given. She's supposed to be given to the sea, but before she's doing that, she needs to get a child, and then she can choose who she gets a child with. And she talked to lots of different people, and there's this one specific hot dude that she wants to have a child with, maybe. And then I'm losing my voice. That's the whole plot. I'm laughing. And it was terrible. I hated it. 1 star. Then I read War by Kara Kamak. This one, we have everyone doing storm magic. She's a royal princess. She's supposed to get married. She doesn't want to get married to this dude. She can't do her magic, and then no one knows. And it's like, oh my god, the princess can't do magic. And then she kind of joins this, like, not necessarily rebellion group, but like underground thing, where they call her Cora, but her name is Aurora. And stuff happens. And again, I didn't really care. Did I get it 1 or 2 at this point? Do I even remember? No, I don't. But check out my favorite vlog for me apparently talking about all of this, I hope, more coherently. And then I read Darker by 4 by CL Tan. This is audiobooks like further down the line. And this one was kind of enjoyable. You can clearly see when, like, because like the later YA reflects something else than the earlier YA, which I talk about more in that vlog. But this one just follow different characters, and she goes to this school where like they use their like spirit power to, well, basically go around and kill demons, and she's looking for a hybrid because that was what killed her mother, but no one believes that a hybrid exists. We have this boy that comes from a prestige family of like these hunters, but he doesn't have any like spirit core to use. And then this event happens that makes it so he gets her spirit core, and then there is like these reapers that's looking for one of the princes of Hell that has gone missing like 18 years ago, and then we're trying to guess who that is as well, and then stuff like that from there. I thought it was really fun, actually. It was a great characters, great drama. The narrator of the audiobook is one of my favorite narrators, so that also made me probably a bit more biased, but yeah, I kind of liked it a lot, so I think I gave it a 4, even though like it was flawed, obviously, like everything else in life, but oh my god, like a refresher from all the other things I read. Oh my god, then I read Out of the Burning City, which I owned for years because it's on my TBR for years. And this one is this girl that makes these illusions, and then one of her illusions gets killed, and she's like, oh my god, are they really alive? Then trying to find out the killer. I knew who the killer was from like page 2. It was super annoying. And then we like didn't focus on any magic or anything of this like cool moving city. We only focused on trying to find the killer, and I didn't care, and I gave it 1 star, and that's all I got to say. Then we have Wicked Like Wildfire by Lana Popovic. This one follows siblings that are told all their life to be like invisible and not use their power or something because the mother said so, and they're like, oh, but why? Then the mother gets sick, and then they are trying to like cure her, save her, and then they find out, oh, why we couldn't use our or show ourselves or use our magic. I tried to clean my glasses, that just made it worse. Didn't care. I think I gave it a 1. Oh no, I need to hold the next book, but I don't have hands. My glasses are so dirty. Okay, better. Next is Even in the Darkest Stars by Heather Fawcett. I kind of enjoyed this more, like slightly more. We have Crimson, so I had to check the name, and the book is creaking like crazy. Who wants to be like a royal explorer, then it comes actually a royal explorer to where they are. They're going out on these expeditions. It's kind of like a journey thing in the snow, in in the darkness, I was going to say. And then plot twist happens, and shit happens, and shit goes down. It was a bit enjoyable, but granted, not amazing either. And such is life. My life is just sad, and I gave it 2 stars, I think, because I doubt I gave it 3. My life was sad this whole month, guys. This whole month, I swear. Then I read I Hear the Sunspot by Yuki Fumino, which I reread the first one, and then I got the rest of the series to read for 5 months. I managed to read all of them except the last one, which as now I have already read now in July. And this one follows a deaf boy and this other boy that starts to be his note taker that gets a thing, basically. But I can't say they're gay. Not in Japan. Not in manga. You can't use the word gay. They just have a thing, but they don't want to put a name on it, and there's a lot of communication problems between them. A lot of it due to like I was gonna say like not just communicating and not talking to each other. Just the other characters assuming that the other character don't want this and don't like this and don't want to do this, and it's very annoying. And then we have a lot of other side characters that's supposed to like boost them or make drama, and I just don't care about them. So like granted, I don't find myself not enjoying the series as much because of these elements, but it's still like an enjoyable series overall. I read the next one and enjoyed that actually much more. But yeah, and it has a lot of like different deaf characters, and it's trying to talk about like living, being deaf, etc. I did like those themes and do think it's important to talk about. I just don't know how well it does it because obviously I'm not deaf, but it was an interesting like topic and a way. I just feel like a lot of the problems they had is just like in a way blamed on deafness in a way. But it's, I guess that's a way to look at it. Another way to look at it is that our main character is struggling a lot to come to terms that he might lose his hearing completely and forever, and he is struggling with these things emotionally. That makes it hard for him to keep up these relationships. I do get that that would be at the center of their problems, but I just feel like a lot of it's just like, oh, because he's deaf, then it's like blamed on that in a way. But I guess that's not what the story is trying to say, but that's what how I could feel like that was the cause of all the problems, and that like just didn't sit right with me for a few moments. But then, as I just explained the other point of view, I do also get it. But it still had sweet moments and sweet characters. I just didn't love it as much as I thought I would, but I still enjoyed it a lot nevertheless. It's not a bad series, it's just like I was just like, I didn't care about the side characters. I didn't care about the communication problems. I just wanted to be sweet sometimes, and it just took a really long time sometimes to get there. Which is fine, like drama is important, but yeah. Because obviously, what else are you gonna have going in your romance manga? I then read The Last Namsara by Kristen Ciccarelli, which is a bit funny because this is the same author as another book I read later. Didn't care for this one at all. Is this one when she's the only one who can make a metal? Am I just mixing up the books completely? No, this is the one where they kill dragons. Oh my god. They kill dragons and she's supposed to kill like the last big evil dragon to prove something to her father. I just remembered like a legend about the Last Namsara, and like we are thinking it is her probably. There's these stories that's been going around in the country for ages, and then like there's more truth to the stories than maybe they think. I just needed like a little refresh of the synopsis because like sometimes it just blends together in my brain. I didn't care about this one either. Clearly. Then I read The City of Miracles by Robert Jackson Bennett, which was the final one in Divided Cities. We finished the series together, me and Johanna, and in this one we follow one of the other characters, and it was just like this conclusion. It was beautiful, very sad. It felt this world where gods has died, but in every single book we are like, oh my god, but maybe some of the gods are alive, and there's also murder we need to investigate. It's sweet. It is very confusing in the beginning. Like the second one was the less confusing because we kind of knew what's going on, which was very fascinating. But this one was, I think, my favorite one, but maybe because we had spent so long with these characters in this world at this point. And I give it a 4, and it was a very enjoyable series. So yay. Then I read Everless, which I also own for ages, where actually time is currency. So like the rich people just can kind of live forever because they get so much like time, while the poor people are just literally dying of lost time. And we have a main character going back to court to work there, even though her father told her to avoid this all her life. And then we try to find out why, and then she's just trying to survive, and then drama happens, and I didn't care. And I wish it was cooler because of the concept, but it was not. I think he gave it a 2. Maybe a 1. Who knows? Then I read State of Sorrows by Melinda Salisbury, and I can honestly say that this was one of the most surprising ones that I actually really enjoyed. And this one, we have like the king that walked over this bridge to sign this treaty with his kingdom they had for many, many years, and he loses his child over the bridge, and the child dies. And then we have like now been in sorrow for like, is it 18 years? And then we have a girl that was born 2 days after, because the queen was pregnant when this happened. She died in childbirth, and her name is now Sorrow because everyone is sad, and she's lived in like just the darkness, I was gonna say, of her brother all her life. And everyone is sad, and then suddenly, bam, 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 someone comes and says, hey, I'm your brother, I'm alive. And we're like, what? What do you mean? So things start to happen from there. We're trying to find out if this is really her brother. We're trying to have this election between her and her brother of who's been as chancellor to control this country. People are just in general hates their families. That is also an aspect of the story. And just the politicalness of the story, like the plotting, the reveals, but like there's still so much holding back, and just this election and the main character growing a lot, just the character, the woman, the way it was written, the atmosphere. I was like, and I'm very much be immersed and really into this story, and I give it a 4 out of 5 stars, and I am as shocked as you. Is this a spoil for my vlog? I don't know. I mean, there's still like half of the books left, so like not really. And besides, there's not everyone who watched the vlog and watched this wrap up anyway. Such is life. Then I read some other books for another thing. So I read Can't Spell Treason Without T by Rebecca Thorne. This is a sapphic book where we have a mage and a Kingsguard, and then she leaves her duty to open this bookshop with a tea shop, and they're like, yay, we're happy lesbians now. And I wish that I cared about happy lesbians. I want to care about happy lesbians, but it just didn't, because just the way it was written, where we were trying to like help like random townspeople that I didn't care for, and I was just wanted to have this cute shop and cute moments, and I didn't care about anything. So I think I gave it a 2, which is very sad because I thought I would like it. And like at this point, I feel like a lot of cozy fantasy reminds me too much of Legends and Lattes, because they're trying to be cozy like Legends and Lattes, which I love. They gave 5 stars. But like, because they're so similar in a way to do things and not do it as well, I just don't like them. But I'm trying to not compare as much, but it's just really hard. I also read The Book That Broke the World by Mark Lawrence, which is the second book in, what is the name of the series? I don't remember. The Book That Wouldn't Burn. I don't remember. And in this one, we have this library that basically explores different time periods, and you can disappear into books and become ghost, and there's a whole thing. And I just I found it a bit confusing. I don't normally love how Mark Lawrence writes, and it is again confirmed in this one. And I didn't really enjoy myself. I didn't really love it. I enjoyed the first one more, but like I just there was new characters here, and I was just like my brain didn't care, so I gave it. You know what? We then have Heart of Thorns by Brie Barton. Another little surprise for me that I ended up enjoying. We have Mia, who needs to get married to this dude. Oh my god, there's so many who needs to get married all the time, and she doesn't really want to. And then they almost assassinated at the wedding and need to go on a run. And then she finds out that she has magic, and she's hated people with magic all her life because they killed her mother. And then we go on to this journey a bit, meeting other people with magic, come to terms with things, and there's reveals. And parts of it were silly and stupid. I was like, really? that rhymed? Then the reveals came in the end, and how I just felt like start to care for these characters and like figure out this mystery. Kind of enjoyable, and I gave it a 3. Now I wanted to read the rest of the series, which is also shocking to me. It's a trilogy, not a duology, and I just know in my soul that it's not gonna be satisfying. Will I buy them? I don't know what to do, but I kind of want to read them, so I don't know what to do. It just had some very interesting aspects though, so I'm as surprised as you are, because I did not expect that, okay? And we have To Best the Boys by Mary Weber. In this one, we have a main character who wants to be the first female scientist, and then she enters this labyrinth / competition as a man, because only man can enter this and then get this scholarship. And she's trying to be a scientist, and I just don't care. I don't care, and that's all I got to say. I'm so sorry. We have In the Miso Soup, my next buddy read with Johanna by Ryu. I just can't say that sound anymore. It's very annoying, because I could before. Murakami, either way. And then we follow this Japanese young man who shows around tourists in the nightlife of Tokyo, and mostly Americans. We follow around this fag dude that wants to go out and have sex, because when there's nightlife, it's sex, not like nightlife, go to clubs, it's sex they want. And then it turns out that Frank is maybe more dangerous than he thinks. He's been to murders nearby. Stuff plays out from there, and I felt like I wanted like a bizarre, weird Japanese book, which is what I enjoy, but this wasn't really it. It was realistic in a way, but then it wasn't really realistic, and I didn't really get like what is happening and why. While I feel like usually I'm like, what is happening, but I get why. So, or something. So I felt like it didn't really give at me as much as I wanted it to, and I gave it a 3. Then I read Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli, which is obviously the same author as The Last Namsara, but this one, guys, I listened to an audiobook and it was great. I even ordered myself a copy. I loved it. We follow a witch and a witch hunter, and he thinks that she's this famous witch that this type of witches escape, and she, you know, he's one of the most famous witch hunters, and she wants information to find this other witch. They're using each other but falling for each other. It was a really great time. I really enjoyed it. I love the world. I love how it's written. I love like the atmosphere. I loved things playing out. It was so dramatic and fun, and I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars because I honestly loved it, and I'm very excited for the next one. Very excited. Then we have Nocturna by Maya Motaina, which I wish I enjoyed more. I think this one was the one with the North African inspired fantasy world, and I wish I cared more, honestly. We have this prince that returns, and then he meets a thief, and then they keep interacting, and I didn't care about anything. I'm sorry. But then I read The Beholder by Anna Bright. We have this girl that needs to get married. And then she needs to meet the different suitors, and then she gets humiliated at the first one, and the next one she's in Norway, which was a bit funny. And I kind of like almost scared for a second, but it's just like it played out weird. I think I it was, but like a bit more enjoyable than some of these others here. I think I gave it a 2, but if I could give it a 2.5 because I don't think it deserves a 3. Oh, what a ride! Then I read Serpent Dove by Shelby Marine, which is also about a witch and a witch hunter. And then she marries one because she's hiding, and he doesn't know about her, obviously. Then they fall for each other, and then she's hiding, and then he finds out, obviously, because life. And then it was just written in a way I couldn't take the book seriously. I wish I could, but I couldn't take it seriously. And then we had a sex scene in a YA fantasy, and I was like, oh my god, this is the romantic scene before the romantic scene. It was silly, honestly, but I mean, I laughed because it was silly, and I wish I could. There's just a tone, the way it was written. I was like, is this a comedy? Honestly. And then we have like this song about titties, which is life. So yeah, I give it a 1 star. And then I read A River of Royal Blood by Amanda Joy, which I actually was very, very excited about, but then I didn't like it either. We have these sisters, and they need to kill each other for the throne. The way that was told to them, they were like, oh, by the way, you guys need to kill each other. And I would get like, what do you mean? There's a way, like, it was told in casual conversation. We could have made a scene out of this, but no. And then she's training her magic. She's really bad at it. Things played out, and I didn't care. I think I gave it a 2. Then we have It Will Fall. Oh, I actually have this book. I just forgot for a second. Which is here by Sarah Harrian. We have these people. They're suppressed. They are empaths. They can feel other people's emotions and like maybe manipulate them a bit. And I need to go to this place full of darkness and shit. And a man should go in here, explore everything in here, and find shit that they need, and do a whole revolution in a 350-page book. That's all you kind of need to know. Didn't care. I think I gave it a 1 star. And I'm like, what do I do with this now? Well, who knows, honestly. My whole life is a comedy this month. I'm sorry. Then the last book I read for the month was Dawn by Octavia E. Butler, which was for my series Read Along in Patreon. And I can say that I love this one. So honestly, I had a few books this month that I really enjoyed. I had Evocation, The Crimson Moth, and this one. I mean, 3 books that I love out of 51 is not honestly that bad if you think about it. And this one follows a woman that wakes up in a room and she doesn't know how she got there. She has been interrogated a couple of times, but she's like, what is going on? And it turns out that she is been taken by existential beings. Existential? Is that what you say? I feel like that's not a word. By aliens! And the whole, like, humanity tried to, well, genocide themselves, I was gonna say. There was a word you used, but I can't remember it. And she is there to bring forth new humanity and help them and etc. And she's like, what? Me? Yes, you. And it was incredible the way that was treated, the way we're trying to regrow humanity, the way we got to know these alien beings. It was just incredible the way it brought up so many interesting things. The live show for this, for me at least, is tomorrow, and I'm so excited to talk about so many things. I have like a long list of notes. I'm very excited to like explore. There was so many things happening in here that was so fascinating. It was written so incredibly like accessible in a way that it was written in 1987 or something, and I thought that I wouldn't understand much, but I understood like everything. Obviously I thought it would go a bit over my head if it was like too complicated, but it was just so not. I was like, it could have been written today. And just the way it brought up so many important things from our society, from the things that is happening right now, it was incredible. And I give it a 5 out of 5. Or I rounded it up to 5, but it's a 5 out of 5. And I do believe that seeing how the series wraps up, which I'm now so more excited for, it might be a new favorite series of all time, but we shall see. I'm just very excited. So yeah, that was the last book I read, which I feel like was faster, but that was obviously because I didn't talk that long about some of these books. And I hope you enjoy my quick and chaotic wrap up for June, and then the next wrap up in July will just be favorite books as well. And yeah, you shall see me soon in a new one. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a dawn emoji down below if you enjoyed this, and you should see me soon in a new one. Have a wonderful, those are here, week, life, day. Bye!